Welcome to the U.S. Open Round 1 Recap Show. I'm your host, Eric Cohen. Glad to be here with the great Nejad and the even greater, I guess, because he's on Sirius XM all week. Can hear him do interviews this week, Jason Sobel. I see you. I mean, you're still great. You know that. A lot to talk about from this Round 1 here, guys. Sobel, you're on site. What's the environment like at Oakmont? Are you impressed thus far? Is the course playing too easy, too hard? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I love it so far. Look, 10 players under par as of right now. Neargard Peterson's finishing up on 18 right now. Looks like there'll probably be 10 players under par at the end of the day. This is a great U.S. Open so far. It's one of the best U.S. Open venues, one of my absolute favorites. You listen to the players. I spoke with a lot of them after the round today, and they're like, big exhale. Like, this is as tough as it gets. Thomas Dietrich, who was up there on the board, he shot 69 today. I asked him to rank this on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as difficulty. He said it's an 11.
Wow. See ya. Your DFS lineups. I know you do the DFS show on Monday nights with McClure and Rick. How you feeling after round 1? Are you alive? Are you dead? Are you in the middle?
Believe it or not, I was so hung up on my matchups that I actually haven't checked in hours. So as you're asking me, like, DraftKings is loading right now, and I'm gonna tell you, I didn't invest a lot of money in this week's contest for whatever reason, but let's see. At any of the contests, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm actually cashing in every. No, that's not true. In maybe the 7 or 8 contests that I'm in, I'm cashing in 5 or 6 of them, but I'm like barely cashing in all of them. So we'll see how it turns out. But I got to say, a lot of the players that we talked about are not the players that blew up today. In fact, I had 3 matchups: 1 on the early wedge, 2 on the early edge. All 3 of those cashed. The Siwoo Kim top Korean is looking good, although Sung Jae Im will have something to say about that. 4 of my 5 outrights are within striking distance, and that includes guys like John Rahm and Cam Young and, you know, Fox and Burns kind of out there. So we're having a good day so far. No major blow-up rounds outside of, there is one, Shane Lowry, who is one of my outrights that's the one that's not in play. And that's going to happen. I'm not surprised by it. Somebody's like, there's plenty of good players that where good course fits are going to have blow-up rounds, and we're going to see that tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I put him in as our OAD, by the way, as our combined effort there, Sia. So I apologize. Yeah, that's not
okay.
going to help us. Hey, Sobel, when you look at stats here, like, and for me, it's tee to green, approach, and putting to me is kind of a fluke. What do you look at after round 1 that might be a good predictor of future success at Oakmont?
EC, it's a great question, because I thought coming in, and I said it on our early wedge show on Tuesday, that I thought this would be a first shot golf course. And I thought strokes gained off the tee was going to be the greatest barometer of performance on this golf course. And what we've seen so far is a complete hodgepodge of stats that matter. I'm going to go through each of the 4 major categories. So strokes gained off the tee, the leader right now is John Rahm. He's in 6th place. Okay, that makes some sense. Adam Scott 2nd. He's 11th. The guys right after that, and their placement on the leaderboard right now, 20th, 124th, 34th, 3rd, 20th, 63rd, 34th. So, yeah, there's a couple of guys who hit it really well off the tee that are up there on the board, but for the most part after that, not really very predictive. Let's look at strokes gained approach shots. Siwoo Kim, number 1 by far, plus 5.25 today. He is in 3rd place on the board. Okay, that's good. Strokes gained approach, usually very predictive, but you look at it, the players on the leaderboard, 3rd, 20th, 11th, 6th, 11th, 34th, 20th, 134th, 20th, 6th. So, again, yeah, you hit the ball really well with your second shot. You're going to be somewhere up there, but it's not 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. It's certainly a little bit of a mix. Strokes gained around the greens. Keegan Bradley, who shot 3 over today, is number 1. He's in 50th place. Then it goes 124th, 20th, 3rd, 34th, 63rd, 6th, 98th, 3rd. Strokes gained putting. Okay, usually you have a good putting day. You're up there on the board. 2 of the top, the 2 top players on the board are 2 of the top 4 in putting. JJ Spawn's 2nd. Tristan Lawrence is 4th. Other than that, it's a whole bunch of guys who are outside the top 10. Point is, no one particular stat has been very predictive of performance so far at Oakmont, which kind of tells me it's a really good golf course. You've got to do everything pretty well around this place, but it's not like you just do one thing well and that shoots you way up the leaderboard.
See, I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself. We talked at the PGA Championship after the first round. Johnny Vegas was winning, and you said on our Thursday night recap show, Johnny Vegas will not be in the final 10 pairings on Sunday. Well, he was, okay. He hung in there a little bit. JJ Spawn goes out and shoots 66 today. was fantastic. What do you expect? Do you think JJ Spawn can seriously contend for a win, or is he a prime fade, having gained, as Sobel said, 4 strokes putting in round 1?
So remember when I said that there were 3 guys that were at the top of the leaderboard, and I said none of them would be in the final 10 groupings. I think 2 of them actually weren't. I can't remember. Vegas certainly was, so that was a bad call by me. But this is a different situation. No offense against Johnny Vegas, but we've seen this from JJ Spawn before. In his game, like when you talk about like what he did today, I mean, you could certainly say, oh, well, he did so much with the short game, but he did a lot with the ball striking too. And that's what JJ Spawn does. He's a pretty safe player off the tee. He's pretty good with his irons and actually good with his long irons as well in 2025. Like I don't think I think JJ Spawn's going to fade, of course, but I don't think this is a situation where it's like, hey, we need to laugh and snicker at the fact that JJ Spawn is at the top of the leaderboard. Now, do I think that's where the real lead is? Not really, which probably sounds a little disrespectful, but I don't think it is. I mean, I would probably go down to Siwoo Kim, Brooks Koepka, Sung J M, that area. I think the lead is probably 2 under. But again, we can't completely discount JJ Spawn. We saw him do it at the Players. We've seen him do it in 2025 at other tournaments. Tristan Lawrence is actually like a huge surprise to me, and that's why I'm not really counting him up there either. But here's the real thing that's happening is as this course firms up, we'll see if we get rain. As this course firms up, we're going to see so many people topple, so many people crash and recover and crash and not recover. So I don't know if it's going to be, JJ Spawn that's going to do that tomorrow, or Siwoo Kim or Brooks Koepka, who I have a feeling actually will kind of crash sooner than people think now that everybody's totally back in on Brooks Koepka. But the long and short of it is, I think leaning on the guys that we were leaning on pre-tournament, like John Rahm, I have a ton of confidence in. That was my main out.
Yeah, we all had him. Yeah,
the whole crew had John Rahm. I have a ton of confidence in him, and I look at not so much Brooks. Siwoo, I do have a little bit of confidence in him, but like when you go down the board, I like Colin Morikawa. I like Jordan Spieth. I had a live play on him that I put out on Twitter. I think Cam Young certainly has some staying power. So we're going to see those guys, even Xander Schauffele, those 2 overs, 3 overs. They're all in play, and they're going to slowly creep up the board.
Sobel, what do you make of the weather this weekend? You're supposed to deal out there at Oakmont with some thunderstorms on Saturday. There could be some delays, which I know you're really looking forward to. How do you think that affects this tournament with the projected weather that's set to come in?
Yeah, you might be hearing something different than me. I thought most of the rain was coming Sunday. I don't think it's supposed to be thunderstorms. I think it's just rain. So it does 2 things. First of all, it softens up the golf course a little bit. These guys can maybe go with the flag sticks a little bit more, but these greens are so fast that it's not like it's going to be super soft or anything like that. What it does, though, to the guys that miss the fairways is it's going to make this rough so thick. I mean, the rough's long and thick, and you've got to hack it out anyway. So if it starts raining and this rough gets wet, boy, it's just a hack out fest, and you're going to have no shot at getting it to the green if the ball's sitting down in this rough. So I think it does 2 things. Yes, it helps and softens things up, but it also makes things harder if you're not hitting the fairways.
Sia, I know that you are light years smarter than I am. I am not ashamed to admit that. You have a law degree, for goodness sake, so that's fair. But now I'm going to call you a mathematician. Let's talk about the cut line. Right now, after round 1, it would be +3. Data Golf has it around +7 after tomorrow. What would the Sia Nejad prediction have it after tomorrow?
So if we don't have any rain tomorrow, I am going to predict that the course is going to play harder tomorrow. And I'm going to say, you said Data Golf has it +7. I'll say +8. I think +8. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm just trying to make headlines with that. I mean, +7 is probably right. But if it was between like +6 and +8, like if I couldn't land on +7, I would go to +8.
Sobel, what do you think?
Look, I'm not good at cut lines. I can tell you that it's top 60 in ties, just like they do on the PGA Tour. So we're going to see a lot of players going home after tomorrow afternoon. That said, I think there's going to be a lot of leaderboard movement. I mean, not just leaderboard when we talk about the top of the leaderboard, the first page, but down below. If you've got a guy, whether it's a finishing position bet, whether it's a DFS play, and he shot 76 today, and you're sitting there going, oh, man, I'm never betting this guy again. Just give it another day. I'm telling you, some of these guys are going to go out and shoot 70 tomorrow and be right back in the thick of things. Some of the guys who shot 71, 72 today are going to shoot 78, 79 tomorrow and might be going home there's going to be a lot of changes on this leaderboard going into the weekend.
One thing I think we can all agree, Shane Lowry at +9, probably not making the cut.
Yeah.
Just going to say that. Hey, if you're watching us no, he's not. Come on. He's not going. After +9, he's not going to.
Shoot 68.
At this course, he'll be lucky to not shoot 6 over tomorrow. He looked like outside of, and think about it, Sobel. He shot a +9 with an eagle, dunking one from the fairway.
Yeah, from 160.
He shot 81. Yeah, I mean, come on.
So I said this about Shane Lowry a couple of weeks ago, and the more I watch him, the more I believe this. When Shane likes a golf course, he gets into the right mindset, and he goes out and plays well. When Shane does not like a golf course, I mean, he's mentally out of it before he even starts. I didn't get a chance to speak with him before the tournament started. I do know that when he came here in 2016, even though he did finish runner-up that year, he played 5 holes in a practice round and walked off the golf course when he got there that week because he said, this is too hard for me. I don't want to even be here. So I do think that a little of that is playing into his head. And there's some players, I don't know, Brooks Koepka for one, shows up on a hard golf course and says, cool, let's go after it. It's hard for everybody, and I like it when it's hard. Shane Lowry, it feels like it gets into his head. When he doesn't like a golf course, he really doesn't like it, and he's kind of mentally checked out before he even starts.
See ya, go ahead.
Fun fact for you, now that we have all the stats in kind of finalized here, although actually I don't know that it's completely finalized. The 2 guys that lost the most strokes putting were in the same group. It was Shane Lowry and it was Justin Rose. Justin Rose just barely edging out Shane Lowry, 4.49 to 4.45. They collectively lost 9 strokes putting. And that was a lot of Lowry's day because when you look at the ball striking, it wasn't terrible. He gained, 1.35 strokes on approach. He marginally gained, off the tee, marginally gained tee to green. Just interesting note there that in that group, the 2 worst putters.
You know what's really interesting about that, Sia, is that, we're talking about 2 major champions. We're talking about guys who are in the top 20 on the world ranking. This is not a PGA Tour event. It's not a signature event where, it's got to be somebody who's up there. Other guys who didn't putt well include George Nizer, include Matt Vogt. He's a dentist. Ben James, he's an amateur. James Hahn, who doesn't even play on a regular tour anymore. There are a lot of guys out there playing in this tournament who aren't even close to the quality of Lowry and Rose. For Lowry and Rose to be at the very absolute bottom of the day, bottom of the board for putting is pretty astounding.
One other fun fact that I think is worth pointing out. Maybe some people watching know this. Who gained best tee to green? It was our guy Siwoo Kim, 7.77. Number 2 was Carlos Ortiz at 7.47. And Carlos Ortiz in DFS circles was a guy that people did mention. I think he was 6,400, kind of coming in hot, but not on the PGA Tour. He lost the 3rd most strokes putting. So imagine that the guy Carlos Ortiz, a relative unknown at least over the last few years to any tournaments on this side, he gained 2nd tee to green and yet was 3rd worst with the putter. So take that with maybe you do something with that in round 2 or the rest of the tournament. I don't know. All
right, before we get into our buy or sell, which I love doing here, let's talk about Rory McIlroy for a second. Sobel, the guy starts out 2 under par. You're like, all right, we were all wrong about this guy. And then watching his final 9 holes, it was a train wreck. What do you make of him?
Maybe we weren't wrong. Maybe we're dead on about our assessment of Rory McIlroy coming into the week. Look, we talk about golf being a mental pursuit, and the U.S. Open is the greatest mental tournament that we have the entire year. And he talked about it coming into this. If you listen to Rory, this isn't us making up things about Rory McIlroy that we think. Rory's telling us, I haven't been as motivated since I won the Career Slam, since I won the green jacket. I haven't been into it. He's trying. It's not like he's not going to show up and play a U.S. Open, but you could just listen to Rory and knew he wasn't ready to go out and challenge for a title this week. And so that all fell apart on the back 9, played some pretty poor golf coming in, and you see the score there, 74, and, a lot of just bad holes for Rory coming in down the stretch, and he's going to have to do something to turn it around tomorrow if he wants to get into contention, but he is certainly not going to be on my buy list.
Coming up next, speaking of buy or sell, I have a statistic for you guys. Let's see if it holds up after we hear from one of our sponsors.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
You know, producer Josh in our group chat here says, I think Rory was trying to shoot 39 on his backside, since that worked nicely at Augusta. Fortunately, it's shooting 41, probably not going to get it done. All right, let's get to buy or sell. I love this one here. So since 1998, the winner of this tournament has been within 6 shots after day one. So buy or sell, based on that statistic and going forward, Bryson DeChambeau and Scottie Scheffler, who are 7 back, are done. Save your money. See ya? Buy or sell?
I couldn't sell that any harder because of what this course calls for and who's at the top. I mean, we've got JJ Spawn, who's a good player, but not the caliber of some of those guys that are 7 and 8 shots back. And we've got Tristan Lawrence, who honestly just is a missed cut machine. So, I mean, good for him. I heard his interview with Jason Sobel after the round. He sounded like he had a good head on his shoulders. He's preaching patience, or at least Jason was preaching patience to him, and he was agreeing. So, like, these guys are going to fall in this course. Like, you're just going to find doubles and multiple doubles and bogeys, and, you know, you're fighting for par. Like, there's just not going to be a lot of opportunities to like separate yourself. So I think these guys that are at +3, that are at +4, again, if I think the real lead is around 2 under, I think the +5s are also in play.
Sobel, 27 straight years this trend has held up. These guys got to count them out now, right? DeChambeau and Scheffler, they're done. Wrong?
Come on. Trends are meant to be broken. We've seen so many trends broken already this year. Remember, nobody had more than 2 double bogeys at Augusta National and ever won it. Well, Rory made 4 of them, and he still won the green jacket. Trends don't mean anything. I'm selling that idea. That said, I'm not buying Scheffler and Bryson in the current market. Scheffler +650 right now. Bryson +1,800. Those numbers aren't big enough to get me to buy. Let's see Scottie at somewhere closer to 10-1 with a similar type of leaderboard, and I might be a little more interested, but +650, I'm not quite there yet. I want to see a little more from Scottie, and same from Bryson. 18's probably the right number. Seems like a decent number, but too many other players that I like. John Rahm's a guy that we talked about. We all liked him coming into the week. He's right there. I feel like I'm hedging my Rahm play a little bit if I buy either one of those guys now.
All right, so that's fair. Well, that'll lead me to the next one. See ya. Buy or sell. John Rahm is a deserving favorite, albeit 3 back, but he's 5.5 to 1. Scottie 6.5 to 1, and then nobody in between him and Colin Morikawa at 12 to 1. So John Rahm is a rightful favorite right now at 5.5 to 1. Buy or sell.
Totally buying that. I mean, you know, again, the early wedge was all over John Rahm, and for good reason coming into the tournament. And then we see what he does in round 1, and we see the guys that were ahead of him, which were really, at least at the closing bell, which was Bryson DeChambeau and Scottie Scheffler. And now they're, 4 shots behind him. So I understand why it's like a close call, why Scottie and Bryson aren't too far behind him. But John Rahm came into this tournament looking like a guy that could take down Scottie and company. Round 1, he's looking like that, and he's ahead. He's a deserving favorite. I still think he's going to win the tournament. I have him, notably, in the without Scottie Scheffler market, but still, I think right now, I would say he's the rightful favorite.
Yeah, Sobel, he's 3 back, 5.5 to 1. Aren't those short odds for a guy what do you think about that?
Look, odds are always too short. I mean, we can sit here and complain every Thursday, Friday night about guys being too short who are up near the top of the leaderboard, especially the star players that are out there that have won before. But yes, Rahm is the deserving favorite. You mentioned, DC, that in whatever book you're looking at, you have Morikawa as 3rd. The only problem that I might have here, BetMGM goes Rahm at +550, Scheffler +650, Koepka at 11 to 1, and I think that's right. I actually think Scheffler and Koepka should probably be a little bit closer, that Scottie should maybe be 8 to 1 and Brooks should be 9 or 10 to 1. I think there's too much disparity between those two numbers, with Brooks being 4.5 points longer than Scottie right now. But other than that, I think it's pretty dead on.
So I see the book I'm looking at, DK, has Morikawa, Koepka, and JJ Spawn at 12 to 1. You couldn't pay me with your money to bet JJ Spawn at 12 to 1, but those who do, good for you. See, here's a thing that just kind of looking at it. What's the number that you would need? It's not necessarily a buy or sell. What's the number you would need to bet Scottie Scheffler outright right now?
What is the current number, by the way? Did you say it's plus 650?
6.5 to 1. He's 13-2. You can't bet that, can you? No.
No. If it was 10 to 1, I think I would be moderately interested, but no, it's not. So by the way, when we go back to Rom, like I think he's the rightful favorite, but to your point, EC, I don't think that's a good number. I'm not rushing to bet the 5.5 to 1, but I do think he's the rightful favorite. Two different things. As far as Scotty, yeah, we're never going to get a good number on Scotty until he maybe starts off tomorrow like bogey, par bogey, and then all of a sudden now this thing's probably 12 to 1. Then you can maybe consider it, but I don't see a scenario where I'm betting Scotty this tournament, regardless of what happens tomorrow or the next day.
In our next segment, we'll talk more about who we would bet outright, some long shots. We'll get to that. Back to buy or sell. Buy or sell Sobel with potential weather coming. This is going to be the toughest day of the week from a scoring average perspective. You buying or selling that?
I will sell, but it's either today or tomorrow. Remember, we're going to have upwards of close to 100 players missing the cut. A lot of them are journeymen and mini tour players and dentists and amateurs. And so once you get them out of the mix, even if you toughen up the golf course and tuck some pins on Saturday and Sunday, it's essentially the guys who are playing good golf. So the scoring average should be lower on the weekends just based on the fact that the talent pool is going to be deeper for those rounds. I think tomorrow could get a little dicey. I think tomorrow it's going to get faster and firmer. It's hot out here. It's hot. The wind started blowing a little bit in the afternoon. The afternoon wave actually played about a stroke better, which surprised me because I thought this place was going to bake out a little bit. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but it's not going to get easier. And we'll see I haven't seen a pin sheet yet for tomorrow. I don't think they've released it yet, but I thought there were some tuck pins today. Still seemed gettable. I thought the golf course was set up brilliantly today. I mean, we've got 10 players under par. Early in the day, JJ spawns 4 under through 8, and the entire world is bitching about I thought this place was tough. What's going on with this place? We have 10 players who are under par, a lot of big names who are not just over par, but way over par. I thought Oakmont was set up brilliantly by the USGA, and I expect it to continue to be set up brilliantly. And I think tomorrow, if you took a few more of these pins, scoring average could be higher.
I'm with you. Producer Josh is with you. Sia, are you with all of us that tomorrow is going to be the day that's going to be carnage?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, again, I don't know exactly when it's going to rain. I think Josh had mentioned it's going to be sort of Friday night into Saturday. I could see Sunday being a crazy bad day if we don't get much rain and the course continues to bake out. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow makes sense. I get it. I think either way, all three of these days are going to be really, really tough.
I can't wait to watch. This is so much fun to watch. Jeff in the chat was giving me some crap saying, this is like my Super Bowl since I love to bash. No, this is fun. I don't want to watch a birdie fest of 25 under par. I want to watch them struggle to make pars. Go ahead, Sobel.
EC, I'm going to lay out what you like.
Okay.
This is what everyone likes. Everyone always says they want carnage. I want to watch the U.S. Open. I want to see carnage. I want to see these guys making bogeys like me on a Sunday morning. I get it. And I agree with that to an extent. What you want to see, though, you don't want to see carnage. You want to see volatility. Because what fun is it if everybody's making bogeys and double bogeys? It's just the guy that holds on the most wins the golf tournament. No, I want to see some birdies available. I want to see good shots rewarded, but good shots are really hard to get. I mean, I don't want to see 60% of the shots being good shots and being rewarded. I want to see 10% of the shots, 15% of the shots being really good shots that wind up in a birdie opportunity. So you hit a good one, you should be rewarded. When players talk about conditions being unfair, that's what happened at Shinnecock, 6-7 years ago. That's what they're talking about is I hit a good shot and I wasn't rewarded for my good shot. I was penalized for hitting it where I was supposed to. That's what they don't like. There's nothing unfair about this one. And so I like the volatility that we get from a good U.S. Open, and that's what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I love watching, I hate to say this, I love watching guys like Bryson and Rory when they get in the rough around the greens. We saw them struggle, and because it makes you as a golfer, makes you feel human, like, yes, I do that on my local muni, and now they're doing it obviously on a harder golf course, but it kind of makes you feel more human. I can't relate to anything that goes on in tonight's hockey game or the NBA Finals because I'm not clearly good at it. But like golf, something we do, we all can relate to that. And I think that's what makes the U.S. Open so much more fun. And I wish more tournaments played harder as this one does. All right, Sobel, not necessarily by yourself. Your biggest disappointment today. We talked about Shane Lowry. Would he be it, or is there someone else that comes to mind?
I really thought Patrick Cantlay would play well, and I know.
Stop doing it, guys. Stop doing the Cantlay thing.
Fool me once, shame on him.
A thing.
Fool me twice, shame on me. It's just he should be really good. He's got a high floor. I don't expect him to win anymore. I'm done playing him outrights. He's on the do not bet outright list for a reason. But I at least thought he'd have a high floor, and I thought he'd show up. And the one thing I will say about Patrick Cantlay, you might want to play like DFS showdowns and things tomorrow, because as soon as he starts playing poorly is when like the pressure's off and he goes out there and makes a bunch of birdies and starts playing well. And then he sees himself on the leaderboard and starts playing well, and he throws a few bogeys in the mix just to make sure the spotlight isn't on him. It's so strange, but I keep thinking he's a top 10 talent in the world. He should play like it, and he just didn't come even close today.
Producer Josh notes that Cantlay hasn't played a meaningful golf shot in a major since the back nine of the 2019 Masters. I mean, he did finish T3 last year at the U.S. Open. I'm just saying that, I know that he was a little bit behind Rory and DeChambeau. Who's your biggest disappointment outside of Shane Lowry?
I'm looking at the board here. Cantlay probably would have been my answer, even though I wasn't on Cantlay at all. I'm done with the Cantlay thing, but I did expect him to be a little bit better than the +6 today. But he's a guy that could sneak inside the cut. As I look at the guys that are in the +5, +6, +7 territory, obviously Shane Lowry. I'll say this: I wasn't on Sepp Straka at all in any way, and yet I'm still disappointed. I'm surprised he is 8 over par. I don't know this. Here's the thing, man. I told you, I'm not trying to brag here. I don't have anybody that I picked or in DFS that had a huge blow up run. I will say this. I did great on the matchups. I did recommend, and this is kind of funny given where Tristan Lawrence is. On one of the shows, as a lean, I recommended Thorbjorn Olesen in a 3-ball over Noah Kent and Tristan Lawrence. And I expected Tristan Lawrence to have basically the Olesen day and Olesen to have the Tristan Lawrence day potentially. And obviously Thorbjorn Olesen is +6, but that would be my only disappointment at the moment.
All right, let's get into our outrights. This is where we make money. We've given out some winners at the end of round 1 at the Masters. DeChambeau and Rory, we said, bet one of those two guys. Let's see what we have here. Sobel, your top bet right now. I give you $100 or more, and I say put it on an outright. No parlay. I just want one outright. Who are you betting?
One outright play at the current numbers.
Yep.
Oh, you guys are going to hate this.
Uh-oh.
I'm going with Jordan Spieth at 28 to 1.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
I love that.
I love the number.
He
He looks good right now. He looks great. I like what I've seen from Jordan. We know he's volatile, but he can get hot in a hurry. He's won a U.S. Open in the past. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. I like everything about Jordan right now, quite honestly.
Jordan Spieth at all right, that's your outright. See ya?
Okay, so
are you going that deep, or are we going shorter price here?
I might need the odds thrown up here, but can I just say, Jason, you were busy. You're doing your stuff over there at Oakmont. EC, I don't know what you were doing necessarily, and I'm sure you don't have my notifications on. But there was a very critical moment as it related to Jordan Spieth. The moment he teed off, I was finishing up on CBS Sports Network with Joe and Mike and Patrick, and I mentioned to them Jordan Spieth. This was after Bryson had not such a great day, Rory not such a good day. And I said, Jordan Spieth is 66 to 1. And there's just he's been good off the tee. He's a creative player, which may benefit him here and all of those things. And I took it at 66 to 1. I tweeted it out. I used a BetMGM boost to get it to 85 to 1. I love the Jordan Spieth call. And frankly, if he made a couple of putts, he didn't have a horrible putting day. If he made a couple of putts, we're talking about Jordan Spieth in a much different context, because he could very, very easily be 2 or 3 under here. And all of a sudden, this is oh my gosh, Jordan Spieth might win this thing. We're not talking about that right now, which is why his odds are at bay to some degree. But I'm just saying, if you follow some of us on Twitter, you'd have a 66 or an 85 to 1 ticket on Jordan. But I'm going to give the same answer. I like Jordan Spieth as well.
Gained 3.5 strokes with his irons today. He was just above field average off the tee, around the greens and on the greens. Had that putt lip out that he was looking at. He's like, you got to be kidding me. That's not cool on the last hole, but tapped in for his par there. He's playing very well right now. The iron play is good. He's been driving it really well all year. Look, I said in the days leading up to this, and Keegan Bradley's another one of my big disappointments, by the way, but I said that Keegan Bradley, although he's only 3-0, it's not.
Yeah, he's fine.
Huge disappointment. It's fine.
Yeah.
It looked like a big disappointment. It was early on, and he was over par. It looks like guys are going well, but yeah, it's not terrible. That said, I was saying that Keegan Bradley is the epitome of what I was looking for at Oakmont, a long, straight driver of the golf ball. Do you know that Jordan Spieth is actually one notch higher on the strokes gained off the tee list this year than Keegan Bradley, who's always up there on that list? So it just tells you how good Jordan Spieth's been with the driver in his hands this year.
You notice that? You go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, real quick, a couple things. Can we scroll up? By the way, I think Colin Morikawa, you could have got him at 22-1. I think pre-tournament. I think he's interesting. I'm not betting him at 14-1, but can we scroll down to Adam Scott, who is even par? A guy that I had as a first-round leader that I thought we might have a chance at, 50-1. I actually thought it would be maybe a touch greater than that. I think Adam Scott's, if we're looking for an off-the-radar name, I think Adam Scott is at least an interesting name. Speaking of names, before you go, EC, I have to acknowledge all these people in the chat. Stonefish, Jesse Welter, Joseph Boza, of course, is in here. Kevin Charles, Jack George. A lot of people in here participating. Very much appreciate you. Jeff Stenberg, who has the most awesome profile picture right now of all time.
I was just going to say that, Sia.
Could be Travis Japan. Go ahead, EC. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I'm looking at Jeff's profile. I was like, I know that guy. I'm looking at him on screen now. He changed his profile picture in the chat to you. Hey, if you're watching, make sure to like this video. Make sure to follow the SportsLine page. So much great content, including post-round shows each of the next 3 days. Always glad having you guys here. All right, we need to bring in the voice of sanity here after these Jordan Spieth picks. Producer Josh, will you come and join us for a second? Will you tell us who your bet? If I were to give you $100 and you weren't trying to lose it on purpose, who would you bet?
It's an important caveat. I think it's Rom. Okay. He made 2 bogeys today outside the top 100 in putting. He's like 4th tee to green. I like looking after round 1 at who is highest up the leaderboard with the fewest amount of birdies. I'm not a huge fan of the 5 birdies, 5 bogeys, just kind of all over the place. Like if you can get around in round 1 of the US Open with not very many mistakes, without putting the lights out, and you're someone with the talent as John Rahm, I like finding guys who got a first look at it in competition and didn't make very many mistakes. John Rahm fits all of those boxes. It's not a fun number. I understand that one. But I think if I'm trying not to lose my money and I don't have to give the caveat of I love the number, I think it's Rahm.
I agree with you, and I think that's a good pick. I hate to do this, and I apologize for doing it. I bet Colin Morikawa, and I do this all the time. I can't help it's like I want to put him on the do not bet list, and I just can't. I mean, that birdie at 18 was like that. I was like, if you do this, if you make this 5-foot putt for birdie, I'm going to be even more on board than I was going into this, and that's not a good thing. Like, I may add to my Morikawa position tonight. Listen, guys, he was so good tee to green. He was 3rd. Sobel mentioned it earlier. He was 3rd tee to green behind Siwoo Kim and Carlos Ortiz. He lost 2.5 strokes on the greens. That's not going to continue. You would think that he's going to rectify. Now, he may be a little negative, but at a little negative, I think he could still win this tournament at even par, 1 under par, something like that. So at 12-1, I'm looking for double digits. I'm looking to take my 100 and make 1,200. It kind of makes my stomach tighten a little, but I got to do it. Sia, do you have any thoughts, Mark? Are we going to be there? No, not there?
We're there. No, I like Colin Morikawa. We talked about it earlier in the week where, I kept kind of bringing him up, not as a guy that I was definitely going to bet on, but I'm like, we're talking about, a lot of people are talking about distance and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, what about the guy that's just going to pepper the fairways? Now, he wasn't perfectly clean with the fairways, but certainly more clean than so many other golfers. We see that with Siwoo Kim's game as well, traditionally. Like, I think these guys that are putting themselves in at least decent position off the tee, yeah, they might not have the length, but they're so much more likely to be out of trouble on a course that has so much trouble. I think guys like Colin Morikawa were so much more. Now, can he close is a different question, but I think that profile was so much more in play than a lot of people talked about. I'm down with all of those guys. I mean, I think I haven't even looked at the fairways for JJ Spawn and Siwoo Kim, but I'm guessing they peppered way more fairways than some of these other guys.
Go ahead, Sobel.
I'm trying to think of a politically correct way of saying this, and I'm not sure I have it. So get ready with the bleep button, Josh.
Tread lightly. I don't have one of those. I don't have
You
one of
look
those.
at you look at winners over the years at Oakmont: Dustin Johnson, Angel Cabrera, Ernie Els. Even go back to Jack Nicklaus. All these guys got big balls. These guys have guts. These are guys that basically aren't scared of anything. Go out there and smash the ball. And go out there and they're not worried about
You're right.
the rough. What if I do that? I'm not saying that Colin Morikawa isn't a gutsy player. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I just want someone who's got. Give me Colin Morikawa with Brooks Koepka's chip on his shoulder and his attitude, and I'm all in. I just don't think he has it. I think you've got to have a little of that swagger, a little of that attitude to win on this golf course. Rahm certainly has it. Koepka, I just mentioned, he has it. I think Jordan Spieth kind of has that, especially when he kind of gets a little under his own skin, so to speak. But I just don't know if some of these guys on that board really have it that it takes to win at Oakmont.
Josh, give me a guy at 50-1 or more. Sia gave out Adam Scott that he's looking at. Who is somebody at 50-1 that you would play?
BetMGM is doing me no favors. It's all the odds are locked right.
Yeah, I saw that. So
I'm gonna cheat on BetMGM for just a second.
Sobel, do you have anybody as Josh looks this up? Do you have anybody right now at 50-1 or greater? See, you gave out Adam Scott, which is interesting.
He's 60-1 at some places. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
I think Robert McIntyre is right around that number. He might be 40 or so. You know what? He's a guy that's won a couple times on the PGA Tour already. I see him at 40 in another book right here. He's got a little of that. He's got a little of the, let me go after it and go get it. It's played a little linksy right now, obviously, being fast and firm. I can see him sticking in there. He's probably a much better player than I think people even realize after the 2 wins that he's had on the PGA Tour, the Scottish and the Canadian, maybe both of those coming outside of the U.S. Like maybe people don't really recognize kind of what a talent he is at such a young age, but he's really good. He shows up at the majors, or he has shown up at a handful of them over the last few years. So I could be down with Bobby Mack. Again, a little shorter than 50, but right around there.
All right, PS 36. Rasmus Niergaard Peterson is not winning this event at 60-1. He may finish in the top 10. He's not winning. You could save your money. I wouldn't bet him at 600-1. Josh, who would be your over 50-1?
Denny McCarthy, 50-1.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's have a little fun here. You guys know I like to make parlays, and I can't help myself. We're going to put together a 4-leg parlay from this show. Every one of us is going to give a player to finish top 10, top 20, top 5, whatever you want to do, a finishing position. And we're going to put them together, and we're going to see what this pays. Okay? Sia, I'm going to start with you. Give me your favorite finishing position play that we can add to this parlay.
So because we're doing a 4-legger, I'm going to be conservative with mine, and I'm going to go Jordan Spieth T20.
Jordan Spieth T20. You sure you don't want to go T? I mean, we're trying to win. We're trying to win the people big money here, Sia.
Yeah, but
you don't want to go T10.
We have 3 legs to go, and I know you're probably going to do something crazy when you put 4 legs together. Trust me, this is going to creep up. Let's stick with Jordan Spieth T20.
Okay, Josh, who would be your top? Sobel, I'll come to you third, but Josh, give me your top 10, 25, whatever you want to do. We need the second leg of this parlay.
Victor Hovland, top 20 plus 130.
Victor Hovland, top 20 plus 130. Okay, I actually see plus 110 where I'm looking. I'm trying to build this at DK where you can parlay these together. Okay, fine. Sobel, what do you got for your lock here?
See, if you had come to me first, I would have given you the Spieth top 10 play. But
okay, you do that. You do that.
No. I got something else.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't see the number in front of me right now, but tied 49th right now. I'll take Bryson top 20.
Sure.
Bryson top 20. You're getting minus 170. Guys, we're trying to make the people money. Go ahead, Sia.
Let's flip mine to a top 10 then, because I actually think Jordan Spieth can win this thing. So let's flip mine to a top 10. We'll keep his top 20. Did you already put yours out there, EC?
No, I haven't. So right now, from what I'm looking at, I'm putting this together at DK. We got Spieth top 10 at plus 185. We got Victor top 20 at plus 110. DeChambeau minus 175. Guys, I got to do
top 10. You want Bryson top 10 to juice that up a little more?
All right, fine. We'll put Bryson top 10 at plus 130. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So right now we're at plus 1276. I'm going to give you another top 10, and I'm going to throw in. This is going to be crazy. I'm going to throw in Corey Connors at plus 320. You know what? He's a solid ball striker. Do I trust the putter? I can't say that I do, but he's finished top 20 at both majors this year. If we were to put these four together, so you're out there in the chat, you want to make a parlay, Jordan Spieth top 10, Bryson DeChambeau top 10, Corey Connors top 10, Victor Hovland top 20 is getting you nearly 57 to 1. You put $5 on that, you walk away with, almost 300. Who's going to complain? Yes, Bitsy, I do love my parlays. You think I was going to do a recap show and not include a parlay here? All right, let's go around the horn. Final thoughts. Sobel, we'll start with you. Give me final thoughts on what you expect to see tomorrow, the weekend, anything that's happening.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating. Like I said, I think the course is set up brilliantly. I think the big boys are going to show up over the next 3 days, and we're going to have a big boy leaderboard as expected on the weekend, whether that's some combination of Rahm, Koepka, maybe we get Bryson up there, Spieth. I mean, I just think it's going to be some of the best. We've seen it for the last year and a half with all the big boys winning major championships, and I don't think it changes this weekend.
Josh, give me something to look forward to over the weekend.
Scotty Scheffler tomorrow. I don't understand why he has been bad at this golf tournament the last 2 years. It doesn't make any sense. He finished top 7 each of the 3 years before he really became Scotty, like this kind of final form of last year and this year. He's just been, it's bad. It's baffling. I don't get it. I don't recognize it. I don't understand it. And I don't know. It feels like the things that he was frustrated about Pinehurst last year and the unpredictability shouldn't be as big of a deal this year. But it feels like he's talked himself into the uncontrollability of this golf tournament before the tournament, and it gets him. It kind of takes him for a loop. So he's gonna have to shoot something nice tomorrow in what's probably going to be really tough conditions if he wants to factor into this tournament.
See, no pressure here, but I'm relying on you to make us all money. What do you got?
Well, Jeff Stenberg says he doesn't want to see Spieth. He doesn't want to bet on Spieth. Here's what I got. I think round 4 down the stretch, we're going to see a playoff. It's going to be Jon Rahm. It's going to be Jordan Spieth. By the way, I don't like to bet on Jordan Spieth either, but this is where we're at. I think Jordan Spieth is a really good fit right now. We're going to see Jon Rahm. We're going to see Jordan Spieth in a playoff, and Jordan Spieth's going to win. That's how I'm going to make you money. You do with that what you will.
Oh, I would be sick if I lose a ticket, an outright ticket, albeit I have them in the without Scheffler market. If I lose that bet to Jordan Spieth, I'm going to be sick. PS36, I actually love your bet here. Bud Cauley plus 162 for a top 20. That's tasty. I think I gave out Bud Cauley, I think in my parlay that I put out on SportsLine earlier this week. All right, I'll give you one. I love trends. We talked about him earlier. Scotty Scheffler, he's not winning. Bryson DeChambeau, he's not winning. There is value on the odds board. I still lean Jon Rahm over Colin Morikawa, and I'm praying that we see Jon Rahm in a playoff against Colin Morikawa, because then we're going to feel really good about it on the early wedge next Tuesday. Hey, Sia, what else we got coming up this weekend? You're going to be on, I believe, every show, I think?
Well, not Saturday, but I'll be on tomorrow. I guess I'm hosting tomorrow night, Josh, at 8:30. It'll be a round 2 recap with, I think, Jason, you, and I believe Rick Gaiman, I think, is what we're doing on that one. But is that to be determined, Josh?
I think it's a 2-ball. You and Rick tomorrow night. I think
okay.
I believe is where we're headed.
Okay, and then we have a Saturday recap show, and then Sunday I'll be on that one as well. But we're also on the CBS Sports Network. Yep. We're going to be doing the early wedge there at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Joe Musso is going to host, and me and Mike McClure, and I think we'll have some hits from Oakmont there as well.
Yep,
guys,
Patrick will be there as well.
I love doing these shows. Josh, thank you for setting everything up. The graphics are great, and thanks for joining us here to make some bets in the last segment. Sobel, hope you have a great time out there. Stay dry over the weekend. If Jordan Spieth wins, I'm going to blame you. See ya. Same thing. If Jordan Spieth really defeats Jon Rahm in a playoff, I'll never forgive you. For Jason,
we're all rooting for Rahm. Let's just be very clear. We're all on Rahm. I'm happy with the Rahm thing. I think Spieth is going to create some magic this weekend. That's all.
Rory and Spieth in the same year. I mean, the world might explode. It might be all over on Sunday.
I just don't want to lose my bet to Jordan Spieth. I'll just say that. All
I
right,
get
for
it.
producer Josh, Jason Sobel, Nejad, I'm Eric Cohen. Thanks for listening. And as I always like to say, let's hit it big. Good luck.